Hello everybody, I'm David Cooper from ePianos, Genos Tipsters and Whitley Bay Organs, and it's great to see you all today. I can see your names are coming up on my screen, so I know lots of you are watching. So hello to Isaac Stewart, to Trev, to Floella, to Patrick McNally, to Lanzel, today, I can't say that one very well, I'm sorry, to Frank Marlier, Kevin Arthur, Tommy, Cole Peacock, hi Carl, Terence Parker. It's great to have you all joining us today, and I want to show you lots of things about this fantastic Genos. Now if you've got an SX at home, an SX keyboard actually is very similar to operate, so all the things I'm going to show you will also work on a SX 700, SX 900, but the Genos is the top of the tree. It's the best model and it's got the best sound, so I'm going to use the Genos. Now what I want you to do today, if you can first of all, if you haven't just shown us that you're here, let me know you're here. I want to know that you're listening to us, and also if you've got anything you want me to help you with on the Genos or the SX, let me know and I'll try and cover those things today as well. We're going to do this every week, so there might be other times to show you, but we'll try and get through some of your questions today and help you. You have to remember, we're just amateurs here. We're enjoying music. Chris and I work for the shop for quite some years now, so we get to play them quite a lot more than many people who are working in other jobs, but we enjoy it, and we've enjoyed to help people and to show you lots of features. So today I want to show you some features including the playlist, the music finder and the registration area of the keyboard. I want to show you some tips using the rhythm section, and I want to answer some of your questions. Let's see who else we've got on now. Mick Sayers, it's all clear, is it? Thanks Mick, thank you very much. And yeah, I can see you're over in McNally in Bangor in Ireland. I remember when you came over for the wedding of was it your son-in-law, and you came and picked up a Genos while you were here, so great to have you from Northern Ireland. Okay, so we'll start off today with showing you something about the registration area, the playlist and the music finder. Now many people get very confused with this, and the big thing to bear in mind is it's very straightforward. You haven't got to worry about it. The registration area is your 10 blue buttons underneath the screen. Okay, now your registration can be either the ones that we put into the instrument for you, or it might be the ones that you've made yourself, and you can store into the keyboard all the settings that you love to use regularly, so you haven't got to keep working out which buttons every time to use with them. So what I'm going to do, if I show you to the screen now, let's go to the screen. I've got Charlie in the background helping with all the audio and the visuals, so hopefully it's all working. I'll sack him later if it doesn't work. Okay, the registration area is these 10 blue buttons, and these are going to have different settings in them. Now when we press the registration bank 2 black buttons just to the bottom corner of the screen, they go straight into where all the registrations are kept. Now if you've bought a Genos from us, they will be in the user area, okay, and on page 1 you'll see you've got some Genos songs, some Tyros songs, and then you go into the registration packs that I've made, the Big Band Swing pack and the Organ World Bossa Nova pack, and these are groups of registrations that you might want to use that will make it easier for you, rather than having to think every time what do I set up, which sounds do I use. They just make it simple for you, and some of the ones we put in there are just to give you a selection of sounds that we like, and hopefully you'll like them too. So if we start off first of all with the second folder down, which is the Tyros 5 MF. This is the music finder that would have been in a Tyros 5 if you own one before the Genos. If you've got a Tyros 5, you'll probably recognise this list. They've all got a number in front of them, and that means that they're part of the list of 1,825 different songs that were loaded in by us or by yourselves or by somebody into your Tyros 5, and these are setups for the whole song. So if we go into A Hard Day's Night, you'll see we just get one light, number 1, the blue light coming on, and this is going to give us the whole setting for A Hard Day's Night. It even includes the backing, 4 variations, 4 different voices, and we can just use it. So A Hard Day's Night, I'll choose number 1, and automatically over the far end of the screen, you can't see it on this shot, but on my keyboard I've got an intro 3 lit up, and that means that I can play with intro 3, and the moment I start my first chord, the backing for A Hard Day's Night will start. Here we go. Now I've got 4 different backings, A, B, C and D, and if the OTS link is on, which is what they recommend you leave on for the one touch settings on the music finder songs, that will mean that you'll get 4 different backings, and they'll each couple up with the OTS link button to 4 one-touch settings, which are on the right-hand side. So you might see this. If I press the A button, number 1 will light up. If I press B, it won't show on that screen, unfortunately. Go back, can you, Charlie? That's it. So number 2 will be on the second one, number 3, and these lights are changing look, even though I'm not touching, because I'm choosing the ABCD backings and it's linked by the OTS link. So the one-touch settings are a big part of the Music Finder songs from a Tyros 5. So if you look in the screen again, if we go back to the screenshot, we've got a corner here with a little arrow in it, a little bent arrow. If we press that, that takes us back to all the categories again. So we were in Tyros 5 Music Finder songs, and when I press that, it goes into the list of songs, and we've literally got 182 pages. You can go through them, you can see the pages changing. Okay, let's just check my notes just while I'm going through this. Oh, hi Albert from Cornwall, and I can see Tommy's imported his playlist to Genos. It takes forever to scroll through any quick way. Well, there is another way you can do it, actually. I'll show you that in a minute. There's quite a good way, Tommy, to show you. Okay, so we'll go through these first. These are all the numbered ones from Tyros 5, and you can literally go through arrow, 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 and they're alphabetical order with a number in front of them. Now, if we come back out of there, we've got the arrow in the bottom right-hand corner. It takes you back to that first list, and there's another set, and these are Genos Music Finder songs. So these are new songs that have been made by Yamaha to have great registrations, and these are from the new batch for Genos. So the original batch was the Tyros 5, Genos is the new batch, and these are to link up with the playlist feature. So if you look, we've got again pages and pages of different songs. A lot of them will duplicate, but they'll be using the later styles and the newer voices from the Genos. Okay, so again, if we go into one here, Mack the Knife is there. Now the difference with the ones which are coming from the Genos playlist is they have 6 lights rather than 1. So in the bottom you can see these 6 lights, and that means that we can have an intro in number 1. When I press number 1, the intro will flash, and you'll see on the big screen, if we go back to it, you'll see the intro over here is now already intro 3, and we've got A backing started, and that's what's, and synchro starts, and so it's just ready to go. Now if we go back to these buttons again, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are the effectively ABCD backings, and then number 6 gives us the ending. So if you press number 6, it's going to finish the song. Number 1's going to start off the intro again, and 2, 3, 4, 5 are going to give us the backing. So if we go to Mack the Knife here, I'm on the button number 1 at the moment. I'll play my first chord. Now A is actually the same as number 1 without the intro, and we're into it. Let's go to number 3. Let's go to number 4. Number 5. And number 6 is the ending. Makes you feel like a really good musician, doesn't it? Because all this stuff is just so encouraging and so enthusing to play. So any of the ones that are in the playlist ones from the Genos, if we arrow back up again on this screen, if we go back to the screen again for you to see, and we go arrow up, you'll see that we are in the Music Finder, the Genos Music Finder songs, and they're the new batch. The ones below were the ones with just 1 light, and you use the intros and endings of your choice. So in this section we've got the Music Finder songs that we've loaded in on your behalf, and between the 2 batches you're going to have about 2,400 songs to choose from. So that's quite a good way of doing it. Hi Maureen, thank you Maureen. Yeah, the backing tracks are brilliant, aren't they? And oh, Paul's here. Hello Paul, nice to hear you here as well. Great, good to hear from you. Okay, so let's go on for the next part of it. All the ones next on this list, if we go back to the list on the screen again, these are all going to be the registrations that we put in it for you. So on this first page, we've got a big band swing pack, Organ World Bossa Nova pack, Church pack, Theatre pack, and these are ones that I made. I remember being up till about 2 in the morning trying to work out these really good settings, and it was just so good fun to do that I just kept on, and I think we've all had some very late nights playing Genos. So we've got these batches here, and one thing we can do on this screen, if we keep looking at the screen, if I go into, let's go into, what should we do? We'll go into Organ World Bossa Nova pack. We've chosen it, but we can actually see what we're going to get, because at the moment we're a bit blind. We've only got the buttons telling us we can choose them, but we don't know what we're going to find. So if we press the menu button at the top of the screen and then we go registration bank info, we're going to see what I've called and what all these sounds are. So I had to be a bit imaginative in the end. In fact, we've got number 8 is called a Brexit organ, which was just because it was all going through at the time, but we did get there in the end. The sounds on the first screen are the voices you're going to get. We've got the left-hand voice, the right-hand voice, if you've used right 2 and right 3. So we can see what sounds when I press them. When I press them, you'll see they go green. So I hope you can see that clearly. Are you all seeing it clearly at home? Yes, there is a music finder, Scott, on the SX900 if we sold it to you, because we'd have loaded it in for you. If you didn't, it can be loaded in, but for all our customers we load in Music Finder and we load in the new playlist. So all these are sounds that I've made personally, and if we go to the style button in this corner, we can then see what style, and this is the Bossa Nova pack, so they're all going to be Bossa Novas, but it will tell you which section is turned on to start it. So we've got a break, I've loaded in a break, so the moment you start, a break kicks in just to give you a variant from what you were playing before, and they're all set to the same speed. So if we go to number 1, we can get number 1 here. Al back, can I download these? Well, these are ones that we just give to our customers. We haven't made them available to anybody else, because people who buy from us, we've got to give them something a bit special for coming to us, and this is the batch of registrations that I've made particularly. They're not for sale anywhere else. So if we go to the Euro percussion, we've all got different sounds. So they're all going to give us different settings. If we come out of that with the X in the corner, we can go to a different batch. So if we go to the big band swing pack, for those of you who have got the Genos, I think we've sold about 700 Genoses now, so quite a lot of you will have these registrations and probably don't realise they're there. So we're going to big band swing pack, we'll go menu, we'll go registration bank info, and these are all the names. Look, so we've got mellow band ballad, mellow sax ballad, Miller band, which would be Glenn Miller. We've got solo trumpet swing, full, and these are in pairs. What I've done, I've put them in pairs. So the first 2 are at a speed of 66, the second 2 are 83, 117. So they're getting a bit faster, but you've got a sort of maybe a chorus and a verse. You can use them how you want, but they're there to be used. So if we go into, let's go into number 7, classic big band. We've got number 7 lit up on the panel here, and when I play here, we'll put an intro on. And this is classic band. But you can see it's a solo trumpet. Sounds, that's the number 7 and number 8 of the big band batch. So you can try these out yourself, and if you haven't found them, let's show you how to find them again. We press the 2 black registration bank buttons together, and then we're straight in. If we're not in that page and you can see something else, use this arrow in the bottom right hand corner to come back up a level. This takes you back up. So if you're in a folder within a folder, you need to press that arrow until you've make it disappear, and that means then that you're back to this first screen, and everything we've loaded in is in a USB stick tucked underneath the instrument. But what you need to do to use them is you use the user area. The USB could be if you add some more memory sticks in, but the USB that we've put underneath is accessible from the user button, and this allows you to get to all these registrations and songs and sounds that we've loaded in on your behalf. So let's go through some more here. We've got the Tyros and the Genos song lists. We've got the wartime collection that Chris includes, because he did a video on that some time ago, and we can go through that on the videos on YouTube. And then we've also got all the registrations that we've loaded in, and there are about 6 60 pages, 60 batches of 10 registrations, so about 600 you can go for. So this is the registration area, and what you've got to remember is that all the songs, all the registrations are all accessible from this area. Okay, now if you wanted to find one, let's say you wanted to find My Way, let's say you want to play My Way, there's a very quick way to find it. So your question a little bit earlier about is there a quick way to get into the one you want, we can go to the search button at the top of the screen here. So I'm going to go to search. Now I want to play, I'm going to clear out what was in there before, and I want to play My Way. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into this black box at the top of the screen, and we're going to type in My space Way. That means it's going to now search in the keyboard for all the files that we've loaded in, or you may have loaded in, for My Way in the title. If we go OK, now we've got a few on My Way, and we've got Always on My Mind because Way is in there, but if we go to My Way here, the numbered one will be the one with just one separate setting, because that's from Tyros 5. So if I go to My Way, you'll see on the panel I've just got one light here. But if I go to these other ones, these are the ones that give us 6. And there's more than one variation that we've got loaded in here for you. And if we want to see what they are, we've loaded them in now. So we can go OK. And that's got to My Way. And then we can see what these 6 are going to be, because we've learnt now we can go to Menu, Registration Bank Info, and we can see they're all set up with a ballad. Some of them have got an intro or an ending or a different fill-in. And if we go to the voice, we can see the main sound. The first one is there'll be a flute. The second one is a piano. Brilliant piano. The third one is Keno strings. And the fourth one is horns, strings and flute. So if we wanted to play My Way, we've now got a great setting. It's gone straight to it on the page when I pressed OK, and they're in these buttons ready to use. So if we try it, the first one is the intro. Let's just play a chord. That sounds good. Piano first, no, flute. I'm going to go to that menu again, and then we can see what we're going to get. So on the screen now I've got the names of the sounds. Let's go to number 3, which is the piano. Brilliant sound. Now we've got a feature on here called break. If I press the break button, it stops dead. Ready? Then was I pressed the break button and it just stopped the rhythm, and then it carried on with the next bar again. So if I do that again with the flute sound first. I'm in the wrong bit of the song, aren't I? Let's go to the right bit. We can do it again. Okay, so we can also do a transpose there. I use transpose quite a lot, and what that means, it just lifts the pitch and the sound of the song. So when I'm playing that last bit, I'm going to play the break and I'm going to transpose it up one semitone. So where am I playing from? And I'll do the break, transpose, and it just lifts it up. Break. Now back in number 3, if you press the fill in, it does it with you. Ready? And the break. It's ending. So that's just one song, that's My Way. Now you can use all these songs, there's 2,300 to choose from, and they're all really good settings that the pros at Yamaha have made up for us. So we can use those, and they're in that search facility. So one of the questions I think you asked about searching through, a quick way to find, let's just check your message, is there a quick way to scroll through the playlist to Genos to find a quick way? So any song that you want to find, any setting you want to find, you can literally go to the top search button, we can clear out the old title, press the black box, and then we just type it in. So if I wanted to find Red Roses for a Blue Lady, R-E-D space R-O-S. You do have to type quite slowly because it's very easy to overtype and be a bit ambitious, but okay. Red Roses for Blue Lady. The first one will give us 1 light, and the others will give us 6 lights, which is the intro at the beginning, ending at the end, and the 4 sounds in the middle. The reason why they've done that is if you want to jump between different parts of the song, the chorus and the verses, if you're using the button number 1, it will give you an intro when you might not want it. So the option is there for the 2, 3, 4, 5 to be able to give you the ABCD variations, and each one will give us that sound as well. So it's very, 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 very useful. Right, I think we've got some more people watching now. Thanks for joining us. I hope it's all useful to you. Let us know if you're watching. I've got a thing from Maureen. Are all the Tyros 5 songs included in the Genos? They're not included in it, but we load them in as part of our package to everybody who buys a Genos and an SX700 and an SX900. Can I use the style song on the Genos from the SX700? Can I use the style songs? The style songs on the Genos, I'm not quite sure I mean style songs, but all of the songs that are loaded in, we load them in onto the 700, the 900 and the Genos. Some of the ones might have an odd sound that isn't on the 700, but they will all work, and all the Tyros 5 songs will all work, Maureen. So yes, you can do that. Okay, Paul's in his garage in Leicester. Great to hear from you, Paul. Linda Fisher, you can hear it loud and clear. That's good, Linda, thank you. Is the music finder on the SX? Yes, Scott, it is exactly the same if we've loaded it in or you've loaded it in. It won't be in it. When these come from the factory, there's nothing in it. There's one playlist with about 8 songs on it. There's nothing else. And this is where I suppose people like to come to us to make sure they're getting lots to select and lots to choose from. So yes, there's lots when we finish putting all our stuff in. And the latest thing we're doing now is Yamaha have changed their expansion pack. So if any of you have bought previous models and bought extra sound packs that were 25, 40, 80 pounds a pack, we now load in 25 of these packs free of charge because there's a huge capacity of memory in here, and we've thought, well, now they're free, we're going to load them in. So everyone who buys a Genos from us from now on will get these 25 expansion packs loaded in, and they give you extra styles and extra voices. So it might be a trombone pack or it might be a European pack, and they're going to give you extra sets of things for registrations to be made from. Okay, Alan Hickman, hi Alan. Let's see, I've just scrolled past you. If it's not for sale, guess that leaves me out. I'm in the USA. Well, we do sell lots of our registrations, but it doesn't include those, I'm afraid. Tommy, cool. I'll get my head around the registration soon. That's good, Tommy. I find foot switching setups confusing. Well, foot switching is a good question, actually. You can put a foot switch on, which will change the registration. It can be either a sequence that you make, and we'll cover this in a future week of this new show, where you can actually go through a particular sequence in order of all the registrations that you want to play in whatever order you want, or you can also use it just to go straight to a particular one-touch setting, or to scroll around the loop of the one-touch settings, plus or minus going through them. So you could allocate a foot switch to control the registrations you want, because when you're playing, sometimes it's too much happening that you wouldn't want to let go of the keys. So if you use the foot switch, you can just tap it and that will change it onto the next registration. So that's quite a useful thing. Foot switching, it's not really confusing, Roy. The difference is that you've got to program it in first. You've got to set your foot switch so it goes from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, or you've got to set it to a group of registrations in your 10 buttons that you want to jump in a particular order, and you can go up and back down again if you wanted to, but we will cover this. This is a good thing to cover for another time. Okay, let's try and scroll again. Kevin, Torres song styles sometimes have the bass too high. There's going to be a setting in now. It might be that your speaker on the floor is set too bassy. You've got a control on the back and the front of the floor speaker if you've got an MSO1 floor speaker, and it might just be you've got that too much. But you can, on the panel here, we can control all the bass from this section, so you can just set it, you can just slide down a particular slider you've got allocated. We will cover sliders another time, but the sliders can be all adjusted on the fly when you're playing, and they're just a quick change on the sliders, the live sliders. Maureen, does the Genos do Scottish music backings? It does actually, yeah, you've got some Scottish backings. So if we go into the style section, we've got one called Traditional and Folk, and if we go through to page 2, on there we've now got Scottish Jig. These are brilliant actually, let's put a couple on. We've got a Scottish Reel, let's just play one of the intros. We've got the Strathspey. Intro 2. They're very well orchestrated. Scottish Polka. And Scottish Waltz we've got in there. Bagpipes starting up. We've also got the Celtic, so we've got the Celtic dance. Really good full intros, they are brilliant. And we've got Celtic dance. So you've got all your river dance setups in there, and then we've got the Irish. We won't miss anybody out. We've got the Irish, and we've got the Mexicans and the French. They cover everybody. Okay, so let's go down a bit further. We've got, thanks for all your questions, everybody. I'm assuming you can hear me and you're not bored yet. Is there any way to add variable sustain to the organ sounds? The sustain can be varied. I think I need to do that on another week where I can spend a bit more time doing that. But we've got all these questions, we can save them in, and then we go through that in a bit more detail. There's a quick way to show you sustain, actually. I will just show you that. If we go to a sound, so let's say we go to the, let's go to a string sound. There's not much in that at the moment. Now we can go into an edit on these sounds. If we go into the menu button and we go into voice setting, is this the right one? I'm going to show you this later because I'm trying to do it on the fly, and I'll do it when I can show you properly. Okay, if we go through to are these new expansion packs available to people who have previously purchased Genos from you? The expansion packs are free to everybody now. They used to be charged. I think Yamaha just thought it was a lot of paperwork. They'll just give everyone them free. So whereas you used to buy them for £40 or £80, they're now free. They're not easy to download. You need to put in the unique number from your keyboard, and then you need to put it into a certain program called Expansion Manager on a computer, and then you can download them and save them as a file that's going to be loadable into your Genos. But yes, they are now free. If you want some help with that, we can, I'm sure, give you some help with that. We've got some handouts we've already done for Expansion Manager, and we'll probably have a blog soon that will explain it. For those of you who don't know us that well, we have a weekly newsletter that comes out. The newsletter is to give you information about deals, what we've had into stock, what we're offering in freebies and advice and our latest blogs that we're doing. We do a blog very regularly to explain about a feature on a keyboard or a piano, and these are all things that are free for you. So if you want to sign up for our newsletter, on the bottom of this video you're watching there's a link to our website, and it comes up with would you like to sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get one probably every week, and it will give you lots of information about what's available and how you can get more information on these keyboards and pianos and other instruments that we sell. We're quite a big shop, I suppose, now, in the way that we just specialise in pianos, organs and keyboards. So we have probably 105, 106 organs in stock at the moment, home organs. We have second-hand keyboards. We probably have 80 or 90 second-hand keyboards in stock, as well as all the new ones. And that means you can get a good saving on a Genos. If you wanted a new Genos at the moment, at the time of this today now, is about 4,000 including the speakers. You can pay about 3,299 for a nearly new one, and we'll make sure it's 100%, and we'll load it with all these extras. So if you want to part exchange an older Tyros or S series or SX, you can part exchange it for a Genos second hand, really good condition, and we'll load it with all this stuff for you free of charge. That's part of the service that we do with Genos. Okay, let's see what other questions are. Hi Chris. Oh, I'm David actually, Max, but hi Max. In fact, Max, I've been watching you on the videos you've been playing on your RS620. Very good. On the keys channel. Very, very good. I see you've got the 600. Love the songs recently bought. Genos maybe some time ago. Hang on, let's have a look. Sorry, Max, it's jumped away from your thing. Can I access right, one thing to get across, I had loaded me but cannot USB in songs, not MIDI songs. There are two types of songs, Max, that you can load into a keyboard or record into a keyboard. MIDI songs, which is the information of which note you played for how long, and an audio song. Audio is just a recording. It's a digital version of the old tape recorder where you press record and play, and it just listens to what you're playing and records it as an audio file. So if you think of a MIDI file, you might put lots and lots of separate tracks. You might start off with a chord accompaniment. You might add a melody, a counter melody, some sound effects, and it will put them all together and make a MIDI file, which is the information, and the actual keyboard is playing back exactly what you did all together from its features, and that's called a MIDI file. MIDI is musical instrument digital interface. Now, if you compare that to an audio file, it's a bit like a CD. It's a recording. Whatever sounds and things were just heard through great microphones, and it records it. So what you can do, if you've made a song and you've put all your different parts in, you could make a MIDI file. So then you've got the chance to redo tracks, track by track. And when you're happy with it, you could play it back in the MIDI file section, and you could record it into the audio record. And that means then you've made a digital listening version of your track. So the two versions are audio and MIDI. Now, if I go into the song area, we'll just explain that a bit more. So we press the song button, and on the screen here, you've got the song player, and we've got song A and song B. Now, if I just press the X for a moment and go back to the main screen, we've got at the middle of the screen, we've got two buttons we can also go into it, song A and song B. So if I go into song A, we can now see where we're loading all the songs from. And the audio is where I call it a tic-tac. It's just like a little tic-tac, and we can slide it across to MIDI, or we can slide it back to audio. Now, this is a new Genos, so there's nothing loaded in at the moment, but the idea is we can have audio songs, which is just a song that's been heard through a microphone and recorded, and you might want to take it off on a memory stick and burn it into a CD. Or we've got the MIDI songs, which are step-by-step recording or played in one hit, but they are all the information that the keyboard knows and will play back, but you can't actually just burn that onto a CD because it's only the information of the song, not the way the song would be listened to. So if we're in the user area, these are where our songs are, and you could load them through a USB stick, and you could have the ones in your user memory that you might save that you're playing and keep them within the instrument. So this is where your songs are. Now, Yamaha have put some songs in here for you. So if we press the preset button, we've got 2 pages. We've got 11 altogether we can play, and these are MIDI files at the moment. We're in the MIDI file section. So just to recap, the way we found it, if I exit back out again, we went into song A, and we're into this page that you're a bit familiar with from the registrations, and we can go into audio or MIDI, and we can go to preset, which will give us the songs that Yamaha loaded in. Now, we're in the MIDI section. These are the presets that Yamaha have loaded in, and we can play any of these. So if we go to, let's go to one of them, we'll go to Moon River, and it's already over the far end of the instrument. We've got a blue light ready to press, and when I press it, it will start Moon River for me. It's really good registrations, really good setups, and it will play it. Now if we go to the main screen while it's playing, I'll press the exit button, and I'm going to go to the where am I going to go? I'm going to go into the menu button on the panel, and I'm going to select press menu to menu 1, and I'm going to press score, and this will show me the song that's in that that choice. I've chosen Moon River, and this is the notes and the chords. It might be a little bit difficult to see because it's quite a white contrast at the moment, but essentially we've got the chords along the top, G on the C bass, E, we've got the melody notes, we've got the words if you want to sing along with it, and we've got the 2 lines on a page. We can make it bigger. This one down at the bottom here, we can press and we can go to a larger view, and then when we come out we can see it's a bigger setting. There's only 4 bars showing now, or we can make more by going to a smaller version, and then we get more lines, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just check your messages a minute. So it's playing the whole song for me. I'll stop that a moment on the blue light. So we've got these songs that we can play, and we can play along with them. We'll go into the song area another time, but essentially these songs have an option where you can listen to them, you can cut the melody out and you can play it yourself, or you can cut the melody out so that it waits for you to play the correct note from the music on the screen. And that means that it will actually teach you to play the songs that are in the memory or that you've uploaded as MIDI songs into the instrument, and it will step by step wait for you to play the correct note, and it won't go any further until you play the right note. So it's quite a good test, it's quite a discipline to play all the correct notes, and it will wait for you all the time, and it will play all the chords while you play all the melodies. So it makes it a really good fun thing to do. So that's in the song area. So I'm going away from what we're on, but yes, the songs are in there, and you can follow the score on the screen to see the music of the ones that are in there. If I record my own song, we'll also be able to see the score and all the chords and things I played. It knows it all. It'll work it out and tell you on the screen. So a really good feature. Linda Spot, I thought it was too late to have my free expansion pack into my Genos that I purchased from you some time ago. We'll be willing to travel. Well, we'll certainly better put them in for you, Linda. If you bought it from us, we can put those in. So it takes a little while. You might need to leave it with us for an hour or two while we get it and load them in, because you've got to make the files and then compress them and things. But yes, it can be done. Max can do MIDI. Yes, it does MIDI, and we can save that onto an audio afterwards. So if you wanted to record your chords first, then a melody, and then make a mistake and do it again and put another melody in, you can build it all up, and then once you've saved, you're happy with it, you can store it as a MIDI file, but you could also play it into a recording for the audio player, and that will make an audio recording. Now, once you've got audio, you can put it on a memory stick, you can take it off to a computer, and if your computer's got a CD burner, you could burn a CD, or you could just email that file to somebody. So you've actually got the opportunity to send it out to somebody in the family, send it to Australia to somebody, happy birthday or something. It's a really good feature, and it allows you to share what you've played. I know a lot of you record yourself, and there's lots of Facebook channels that you can do this now, but it's a great way to get other people to listen to you. So that's a really good thing. So I'm not very up with these questions, I'm afraid. Let's go a bit further. You're watching from Jakarta. Thanks, Maz. That's great to hear. Linda Fisher, many thanks, David. Has Yamaha upgraded yet to record in MP3? I think it plays back in MP3 and WAV, but I think it only records in WAV. That's my understanding. I'll have to check out that, but I understand that's what it is. Okay, Thomas, these expansion packs are for me. Yeah, I'm sure we can arrange that, Thomas. Yeah. Thomas is an amazing guy. He's Tom's lives fairly local to us, and he's a blind Genos player. Now we've got quite a few of our customers now who are playing Genos who have partial or no eyesight at all, and Yamaha have been very clever. They've brought out a facility which they're still working on, but it's a great way for blind people to be able to play the instrument, because it's got a voice guide on it, and what that means is you can load on a USB stick and it will tell you whatever button you've selected. So if you press the rhythm Moon Waltz, it will say Moon Waltz, or it will say Ooh Vibrato, and it will tell you what you're pressing, so you can kind of know where you are. And these guys are amazing. There's Ricky, there's Tom, and there's also Phil down in High Wycombe, and they're playing this blind, and they're getting their way around all the buttons, and they're able to use it just because it's got this guide which makes it clearer. And these people have bought them. I've been astonished by how amazing they are to be able to take advantage of all the Genos facilities with the disability that they've been able to get round. Now the Yamaha is still improving it, so the voice guide, there are still things that come that aren't perfect, but it's a way of opening it up to more people and giving more people the pleasure of the Genos. So a really good thing. So that's great. Okay. Don O'Farrell, SX900 records in MP3 and WAV as well as MIDI. Oh, okay. Well, they've brought it out in the 900 now. I might be wrong about the Genos. I'll have to find out to be 100%. But I'm here in this situation, and it's I don't want to make too many mistakes. Okay. So to any of you who just joined us, we're here live from Banbury in Oxfordshire. We've got a warehouse up in Newcastle as well, because Whitney Bay Organs that we've taken the reins of. We also run from up in Newcastle, but essentially Banbury's our big warehouse. All our staff are here when they're not furloughed or working from home, and we're here to help. So any questions you've got, do just type them in at the bottom of the video. I hope you're all able to see it clearly, and welcome if you've just joined us. We've gone through some of the registrations, and we've gone through the songs in the song finder, the music finders and the playlist. But what we want to do now is explain how they work with the playlist button. The playlist button is something that a lot of people get confused about. It's actually quite straightforward. What you've got to remember is the playlist feature is just a list of the songs that we've just been using. We've got the main list with 1800 in, but if you want to have a party and play a set of your own, my father goes out and does old people's homes when it's not COVID times, and he has a set of songs that he might play for the bowls club or for the cricket club. And what you can do is you can make a list of the songs that you want to play in each set, and you can then just scroll down the list. So if I go to the playlist button on the panel here, and we've got one here called New Playlist, and this is going to give me a selection of songs that we can use in the playlist feature, and we can make our own playlist. And what that is doing is it's going to choose some of the sounds that we've been selecting from the registration area and the song lists from the Genos and the Tyros 5 music finder, and we can put them into a list that we want to use them in. At the moment they're just in a list of 1800, and to find them you can search individually, but if you're playing somewhere or you've got a lot of friends around, you want to be able to just go straight to the songs that you regularly play. So the playlist feature is very, very good for that. Now what you have to remember is Yamaha have made some playlists of certain genres of music. So when we go into the playlist feature, we press this bar along the top, we can see the screen again. We press the playlist name, and that then goes into the list of playlists. Now we're in the user area because that's everything that's in the memory stick that we've loaded in for you. We go into the playlist for Genos, and we see we've got 10 categories on page 1, and we've got another 5, so we've got 15 categories to choose from. If I go to rhythm and blues, it's a bit long-winded this. I've chosen it in the main list, which was let's go back to that playlist for Genos. I've chosen it on the page. I then need to choose it again. A bit long-winded, but it's the way it is. We choose it till it goes white, okay? And then once we've done that, we can then exit to the playlist we've chosen. This is the trad and folk I've chosen actually. We'll press the X, and it then goes straight to the Genos playlist, trad and folk. So we went through, I'll go through that again actually. We'll go into the playlist feature, we'll choose the bar at the top, and we'll go back up to the, now whenever this arrow shows, it means we can go back up. So we're currently in that file, and I want to come out of it by the up arrow, and I press up again, and this is my first page. So anytime there's an arrow down here, if you press it, it will take you back up to the first page. So I'm going to go into playlist for Genos. This time I'm going to choose ballroom, and I have to press it again till it goes white. A bit long-winded, I know. And then we press the X. And now we've got our ballroom list, and there's 4 pages of 10. So we've got about up between 30 and 40 altogether in that category of different songs that we can choose. Now, you might want to put your own playlist, and that's what I want to show you today. You might want to put your own playlist in, and you might want to put just a selection of songs that you play rather than the big list that Yamaha have made. So what we're going to do, we're going to press this along this top line here. We've got a button that says new. I'm going to press new, and it says a new playlist will be created. Do you want to continue? And we'll go yes, we do want to continue. And then we've got a blank playlist now. So we've now got a blank playlist that we can make our own songs in. So let's say I want to put a couple of songs into this. We have to search for them. So we press search, we clear out the old name, we press the black box to find the typewriter, and we type in. So I'm going to type in here, My Way. My Way. Okay. And then I've got all these songs in My Way in the title. And I'm going to choose the last one. That's the latest one. It goes white. And then I choose Add to Playlist. And that's now made my first song in the playlist, My Way. There we go. If we go to another one, then let's add another one. Search. We're going to clear the old titles. Press the black box for a typewriter. And I'm going to type in Love. L-O-V-E. OK. And now it gives me all the titles. There's actually 10 pages of songs of love in the title. So I'm going to play Isn't She Lovely? And I'm going to add that to my playlist. Okay, and now we've got My Way and we've got Isn't She Lovely? So we've got 2 in there. Let's do one more. We're going to go to search again. We're going to search, we're going to clear the black box, and we're going to delete the old letters, and I'm going to press red. Okay, and there's Lady in Red. I'm going to choose Lady in Red till it goes white. And I can choose more. I could choose Rudolph and Fire Dance, add to playlist, and that will gradually build up my playlist so that I can come back to it and I can put my own songs. Now then, you might think that's great, but they're in the wrong order. I want to play Fire Dance first, so we'll choose Fire Dance. Now you can choose them in 2 ways. You can either press them and then press them a second time to fully select it. It's sort of waiting and then it's on, or we can just touch the tick and it goes straight on. So we want to go to Fire Dance, and I want to move that to the top of the list. And if you look over here, we've got up. So I can move it up, 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 and that's now put Fire Dance at the top. I want to play My Way as the big ending, so I'm going to choose My Way, and I'm going to move that down the list, down. So I've got Fire Dance at the beginning, I've got My Way at the end, and I want to play Red Roses for a Blue Lady. You're going to move that up the list. It's very clever. So we can have literally hundreds in this list, but the idea is you have a list for each party or for each set that you want to do, or just put all your favourite songs into there and then it will put them together. Now at the end you've got to remember to save it. If you don't save it, you will lose it, because this is a little file we've made, and until we've actually stored it into the memory. So we press save and then save here in the corner here. Okay, and then we've got to name it. So I'm going to delete the old name by holding that on, and I'm just going to call it the Bowls Club. Oh, it's so difficult to miss a letter. So Bowls Club, and I'm going to put May 2021. Okay, and then I've got that called Bowls Club May 2021, and I know they're the ones that I played, and if I go there again in September I can just check the ones aren't all the same, unless it's the only ones I know. But the idea is that you can then have a list of songs and you can check back if you want to, or you can just delete it. You don't have to keep it any further. Now once you've got in there, if we go back to the selection box at the top here, we can see now we've got one called Bowls Club May 2020. We've still got the playlist for Genos, we've still got Wartime and all the different ones, but we can add to this library, and it's not a big amount of capacity that in the memory it's going to use, so we can keep adding our own playlists in. So we've made a playlist called Bowls Club. We can go into it again, and to find it we just press this X, and there's my playlist all ready to go, and it's saved because it's got a name by it. So we can use that feature, and it's a great way. So the big thing to remember on this is that you've got a way of actually putting in a list of songs or many lists of songs, and they are using all the songs from the music finder and the playlist and the registrations in the registration area. Anything that you've got named, it will use, and you can put it into a playlist, and they are available to come back to whenever you want to. Now, one of the questions I had earlier, I had a few emails earlier, thank you very much, from people who had questions for me, and there was one from Phil Ball in Evesham, and what Phil said is, how can I put a big batch from a playlist into another one, or if I want to get a selection? So what we can do, we can also append the playlist. So if we go back to the screen a minute, I'll just show you on the screen, we can do this button called append playlist. So append is basically add. So if I go to append playlist and I want to add to it my new playlist, Fred's Favourites, I can press, do you want to add it? Yes. And that's now added it to mine. So mine is the first 5 songs, and then Fred's playlist carries on after that. So you can make additions, you can mix and match, you can swap them around, and you can make a playlist as long as you want or as short as you want. You can delete them. We can go to them and we can delete one of the songs if we don't want it. It says, do you want to delete it? Yes. Let's delete that one as well. Delete, yes. And then after we've done that, we need to resave it because we've made some changes and it won't keep them unless we go save, save here. We'll keep the name the same because it's the same one. We could change it. We could call it a different name altogether. And then when we're ready, we just go OK. Now this is because we've made some changes. This is quite a lot of things. A lot of people get very scared of this one. It's saying it already exists. Do you want to overwrite it? Now we do want to overwrite it. We've made some changes. We're purposely going in to save them. So we want to go yes. We could just go no and make some more changes. We could just get out of it altogether. But the yes will mean that it will now make that my new Bowls Club May 2021 playlist, and it will add to it. So we could use the Bowls Club list to add to another playlist, or we can add to it from other ones. We just load them in as I've just done there. Okay, so that's the playlist feature, and you have to remember that the playlist feature is using all of the files that are in the two black buttons. So we went to these two black buttons earlier and we pressed them. That goes into all of the files in the music finder area, in the registration area, in the playlist area. This arrow takes us back up. So if I go back up, you'll remember that first screen where we had the music finder and the big band and things. That's where they all are. And we're not using them from this area. We're using them from the playlist area where we can make a bigger list of them. But remember, we can just search. And one of the questions I remember earlier was if we press search, we can search for a particular song by clearing out the old name, pressing the black box, typing in. So if I type in Brown, okay, Brown Eyed Girl comes up and these others, and that's a quick way just to search for an individual song. But if we want to put them into the music playlist feature, that's where we add them, and we add them to our list and save at the end. Okay, I'm waffling on a lot here. Let's see what we got in the questions. Well done, David. Thanks, Leslie. That's kind of you. Thanks, David, Max. That's what I do to play for care homes in North East. Scott, that's great. Well, it's the best way. It's all very, very easy to use, and it means that we can just get on with our list rather than having to keep jumping around to find the sounds and the styles and everything else. Okay, I don't know how we're doing for time. I've got no idea, but we'll keep going a bit longer if you're there. 15 minutes gone. 50 minutes gone. Oh, Ruth, I am waffling. I'm so sorry. Okay, well, are you finding it useful? Let me know if it's useful to you. If it's not, we'll never do it again. But if you find it useful, we'll do this every week, and you might have questions you want me to answer. So let's just go through some of the questions that other people have come in to ask us. Okay, there was a question from Jim Matthews in Blackhall, Hartlepool. Hello, David. I have a SX 900, and I find a lot of guitar voices tricky to play. My playing style may be an issue, of course. Can you show me how to adjust so the voice is less sensitive to my keyboard skills? Okay, you can change the settings on this one, Jim, in a menu feature. So if we go to the menu button, and then we go to, now the menu is quite clever. We've got two menus, as you probably know, menu 1 and 2. And if we press the menu button, it will jump between them. So you haven't got to sort of always go to that screen choice. You can just press the menu button and it will jump between the two. So the one we want to go to is called keyboard joystick. And when we go on to here, this shows us which sensitive, and it shows us which setting for touch curve we've got. Now, if you're going to press quite hard, if you've been used to using a piano and you're used to quite heavy keys, then you probably press a bit harder, and that means that you're going to be pressing too hard sometimes. You're getting all the effects that you don't want, because the sensitivity of the keyboard is that you're going to get all these bends and twists and things on the sound that you're not going to want all the time. So what a lot of people do who are quite heavy-handed is they change this to, we press normal and we change it down to hard. And that means you've got to press a bit harder to get these effects to cut in, because if you don't want them to cut in too often, because you're just pressing quite hard on the keyboard and it's quite a gentle keyboard to use, then hard would be the way to set it. Now, other people, I'm with older people who are trying to touch this keyboard and they're struggling to press the keyboard hard enough to get the effects. So you would change it to probably easy 1 or 2. And that means that these effects that we want, like the trumpet sounds and things that do the wibble, you can get them much easier by easy 1. Now I press quite hard, so I'd probably be on soft 2, and that wouldn't, but I could be on normal. It's just a case of trying it out. If we give you an example, if we exit back to the voices and we go into the vibrato sound, let's go to a trumpet. We'll go into not bass, brass. We want brass, okay? Page 1 will give us the super articulation sounds, and these are the sounds that have got effects built into them. So if I go to my big band trumpet or my silver trumpet, when I press them and I press softly, if I press hard, no, it's not that one, it must be big band. There we go. So if I press harder on them, we're getting a much different effect. But if you're really heavy-handed, that'll be happening and it'll sound horrible. So that's where you want to set it to a harder touch so that your style of playing won't give you all these effects. And that was what your question, Jim, was on the guitars. You've got on the guitar feature, we've got lots of guitars with this articulation. There's all these. We've got fret sound. The guitars are amazing. If I play the concert guitar, I'm sure a lot of you have already done this, but if I play. These frets. Now if we're used to playing too heavy, they're going to come in all the time and we don't want them, so that's where you would set it to a hard touch. Steel guitars are great on this. Now I'm actually getting the effect too much, so I'm going to go back into menu and I'm going to go to keyboard joystick and I'm going to go into my touch curve on soft 2 and put it back to hard 2, and that means it won't come quite so much because I'm getting it more than I want to get it, and we can just exit back out at the end. And on that concert guitar, okay, let's see what anyone else has put there. Let's have a quick look. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so keep going, very useful. Well, thanks, Tommy. Well worth doing. Very useful indeed. That's good. Yes, it's good. Absolutely brilliant. Is it too fast? Am I going a little bit too fast? Let me know if it's too fast. Great new show. Thank you, David. Very useful. Thanks, Scott. Terence. Tycoon Tool 2039. Well, that's a future-proof name for you. 2009. Thanks, David. Thank you very much. So I'll do a couple more things. We're going to run out of time, but we've got plenty more weeks to show you a lot more features. I've got another question here from Paddy McNally. This is Paddy McNally in County Durham, County Down, and he's the guy who came down to see us when he was going to a wedding. So thanks for popping in and seeing us, Paddy. The question you've got is, how can I save slider settings when saving registrations to my songbook, or are they just adjustable during lives? Well, these sliders on this top here, if we can, that's probably the best you're going to see actually in this setting, but we're going to get some more cameras soon. The idea is that these sliders are to make changes while you're playing. Now, if you're playing and you want to save those settings into one of your registrations, you can do. Now, when I press the memory button on the far right here, you can just see it in the bottom of your screen, we've got a load of choices to come up before you memorize the settings. So we will do a proper show on this, but the idea is that we can save our settings, and when we press to put one of our sounds in to record it, you need to press the memory button, and you need to make sure before you press the registration button you want to save that the correct things are saved. So we're saving the voices, we're saving the live, the live control is the interesting one that I'll explain to you, Paddy. So with style and voice will include the volumes and things for what you're using and the way that they're set up on the panel. But what you might want to do is you can customize the live control, which is this extra little screen just to the left of the keyboard here. There's a little screen with little names on it, and what we can do is we can customize what you can adjust at the time. So you could customize the live control and put your favorite things that you want to adjust into your own user row, and that's where you could then save that into the live control on this screen here. So you can control what's available on the sliders, and that will become our live controls, and then that can be assigned and saved in with our settings. So that's the live control on the screen here. But if we were to go to everything else, we've got to make sure that what we're saving is correct. So when I press this memory button, if I have the screen, press the memory button, these are all the things. We've got the voice, the speed, which is a tempo. Line out, if you're going to go out to a PA system, you might want to set those settings if it's transposable. Now my worry with setting transpose on here is if you inadvertently have transpose set on when you're playing and saving your registrations, is every time you go back to those registrations, it's going to lift it and you'll get this great lift. But every time you go back to one of the previous numbers of the registrations, it's going to feel like deflated again, because it's going to drop down that key back to where you were in the first place. So I think transpose is personally something I would do as not saving it, and I would use it on the panel myself for what I'm playing. It might be that you're just going to have a setting and go through to 10, but if you're going to be playing and you've got number 1 in the key of C, and then we get to number 3 and it lifts it up to C sharp and it just lifts the whole song, if you want to go and use number 1 registration again, it's going to deflate the sound of the song and the way that you've built it all up and so forth. So that's something that we want to perhaps leave off. Live controls, if you've got some custom live controls. Keyboard harmony is where it brings in the harmonizer, the AOC or the melody on chord, the extra notes that the right hand can be produced from the left hand. The style, the multipads, chord looper, they're all the things you've got to decide, do you want them included in the button when you save it? Okay, so yes, you can change registration volumes and memorize them into a button, and that will save it, Jim, when you go to sorry Paddy, when you go to save it, as long as you've got the voice and the style ticked. Okay, someone else, if you're enjoying this video, do hit like. Oh, that's what we've just put. Okay. Okay, does the hard soft touch go back to default when turned off? No, it stays like it is, because it's going to be the way that you're always going to play. So that will stay. There is a couple of features I'm going to show you actually, which I will just touch on, which is there are 2 things that can override and lock into the whole keyboard. One is called parameter lock, and one of them is called freeze. Now, the freeze button is something which people with SX models are having to use if they want to reuse the pedals that plug into the back of the keyboard, because they, if you want to allocate them to whatever you want, you've only got 2 on an SX, whereas you've got 3 on the Genos. The Genos gives you articulation, volume, and sustain. Now, if you wanted to use on the SX keyboards, some of those, you've got to choose them, and you've got to make sure they're stored into these. So when you press the memory button, you've got to make sure your foot pedals on the screen is one of the things you're saving. And that's where a few people have come unstuck, because they've gone to save all their registrations, didn't realise that you've got to tick the foot pedal button, or they bought a foot pedal after they've made their registrations, and you've got to go back and tweak them. There is a way around that, because you can use this freeze button. Now, the freeze button is a very, very, very clever way of just freezing part of your settings. So a lot of people use the freeze button for freezing the rhythm section. So if we go to the direct access button on the panel, just, you can't quite see it, but it's just to the left of the registration buttons, and then we press the freeze button, we'll now see a similar box full of ticks. And what we can do is we can use this freeze button to hold something tight, and even though we might go into different registrations, it will save those things as they are. So if I go to style, multipad and tempo, that's a common use for the freeze button. That means that whatever registrations I go into, if the freeze button is down, it only changes the sounds. It won't change the backing, the speed and the styles and the multipad. So the whole rhythm section can be locked in using this freeze button, and that will turn it on or off. There we go. So if you're using the freeze button for your style section, that's going to freeze it all in. You can go through all the registrations on the buttons, and it will just lock in until you turn the freeze button off. It will lock in the registration backings. So you might have a particular style you love to use, but you want to try it with some other registration buttons, and that's what you can do, and it locks in that style. If we go to the freeze button again, let's go direct access and freeze. Another way to use this would be to freeze the foot pedals, and this is for some people who are using an SX that haven't got the foot pedals allocated to the right things. And what we can do, we can just tick foot pedals, and when we exit back out now, the freeze button is holding in the foot pedals exactly how we last leave them. So we could allocate the foot pedals, press the freeze button, and that will keep them exactly how we want them, even though the registrations that we're using might not have got them set in correctly. So you only have to do it once when you start playing, and you could even have a registration set with the foot pedals how you want them, and then you can just press freeze, and for the time you're playing, they're locked in. Let's just check these questions out. Okay, chord looper on the other session will be good. Yeah, we'll do chord loop, Trev. That's a really good one to cover. Transpose, yes, Scott. I think that's the best way to do the transpose. I think that if you have it saved into a registration, you're going to be going up the ladder, and then suddenly you're going to drop back down to go to a previous sound. So that's what I would do. Okay, so we've covered quite a few things. I'm just going to play a couple of songs that are my favourites. In fact, I've got one more question. Mick Sayers in China. Hi Mick, good to hear from you. I've been listening to you as well on the Keys Facebook page. Very good. The vocal voice, single vocal voices in multipads on Genos, if you load them in order to have a backing solo. So the multipads are very, very good to use. They're an addition to what you're playing in the rhythm section. So in the styles, you might have a style selected, and you might want to basically have something extra to it, and the style doesn't give it to you, but there's this great section. If I press style, a multipad select on the panel, we can see that the multipads have quite a large choice of categories and quite a large choice of each category. So if I go into vocal, Mick, this will give me, we've got 2 pages of vocal backing multipads that will add to whatever rhythm I've got selected. So let's just jump out for a sec, go into a rhythm. I'm going to go into my, let's go into my trad jazz. So we'll go into jazz, we'll go into trad jazz piano, there we go. No, trad jazz piano, exit out. I'm now going to go to my multipad select, and I'm going to select vocal. Okay. Now remember, sometimes these will be included in the registrations, and sometimes you need to choose them yourself. But what these are doing are they're going to add something extra to your backing style. So I've got my trad jazz piano. Let's turn that on. There's my backing. If I press on the panel multipad number 1, well, let's just choose one first. We're going to go into swing vocal. Okay. When I press number 1 button, and that adds to it, and it keeps in with the timing. And I can change my chord, and it changes with it. And it's changing my chords. Okay, now I can stop that. I'm going to play number 2 this time. There's a jazz guitar. Okay, let's try both together. It's great, isn't it? Let's try the number 3. Hand clap, some extra swing, some extra cymbals and things playing. And then before, finger click. So we can have all 4 going. Now, one thing I would say is I wouldn't put these on when you've got really full-on backings and the D going all the time, because it'll add too much to it. But if you've got a simple backing going, then you can actually just add something to it. And this is just one batch. So we've got all these different categories. I've just gone through swing vocals so far. Let's go to another one. Let's go to oldies pop vocal. I don't know what that'll be. So we'll play our backing again. It could be any backing. I'm just using this because it's simple. So let's see number 1. Well, that's different. Let's try a totally different one. Let's go to page 2, and we'll go to here we go. Da ba do be. Can you see that? Because I can't say it. Da ba do be, and then we'll play the rhythm again, and we'll play number 1. So we can add these multipads, and we'll go into a lot more in the future weeks, because multipads are great on their own as well, and maybe you haven't tried them on their own yet or seen the videos I've made in the past, but the multipads are a good backing without even worrying about the rhythm section, and they change with your chords. Okay, we're running out of time now, so the last couple of questions. Love the Scottish sounds, Maureen, thank you. Would love Genos. I've got the SX700, so similar to the Genos setup. If possible, I'll be able to pick up the Genos. Well, we do part exchange, so if you want to get to our Genos, we can help you with that. I've learnt more during my last 2 brandies. Well done, await more. Oh, thanks, Roy. Thank you very much. All well presented, well done. Can the multipads be stopped with a memory button? Can the multipads be stopped with a memory button? Well, there's a stop. We could stop them with a foot switch, so if they're carrying on in the background you don't want them, or you could have a memory button without the multipad, so that whenever you go to the particular one, the multipads on the previous one stop. So yes, they could be stopped on that. If you have any trouble, email me and I'll look at it in more detail, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm just going to go through my notes, which I haven't even got anywhere near the beginning of. We've covered everyone's questions I think that I've asked so far. We've covered Jim's question, Paddy's. There's one more question. I'm going to do one more question and then we're going to finish. When I came to one of your Yamaha demonstrations, the demonstrator was showing different bass notes to the left-hand chord. I think it was playing a whiter shade of pale. Okay, well this is a really clever thing that you can do. This is Richard Medway from Bicester. Thanks, Richard. And I'll just finish on this. This is a whiter shade of pale. And there's a fantastic style in here in the rhythm section, the style section in, I think it's in easy listening. And we'll just look through and find it. No, it's not where you want it. Where's it going to be? A whiter shade of pale in the oldies, okay? If we go to oldies and we go to the backing, which is called 60s organ ballad. This is ideal if you want to play a whiter shade of pale, and it's set up with all the right sounds, the right backings, the right intros. And the feature that Richard is talking about is where you can set what's called A1 fingered. And to do that, we press the direct access button that we pressed earlier, and then we press the accompaniment button, the far left above intro 1, the ACMP button. And if you look, I've already got it selected, A1 fingered, but we can choose from what we want this to be selected for. Most people will have it on probably multi-finger, where it takes 1 finger and 3 finger chords. But A1 fingered is something which all the good demonstrators use. I haven't really sussed it out, but I can show you on a weather shed about how to use it. And the idea is, for those of people who are used to playing organ and have moved to keyboard, you might have had a book with a different bass note. So what we're going to do, for a wider shade of pale, I'll play it through. We play a C chord, and you won't be able to see this because I haven't got you might be able to just see it. I play my C chord on the keyboard. Can we have it, Charlie? And if I keep the C note from my chord on, the note I play below becomes my bass sound. So I've got my C chord, I'm going to hold my C, and I'm going to play the B or the A and the G. So listen to when I play it with the backing. Great backing. So C chord, B bass. We have the screen now, and it shows me on the screen C chord, B bass, A bass, G bass. If we go back to the keyboard again, you'll perhaps be able to see I'm playing C chord, B bass, A bass, G bass. So this has actually given me the effect of my pedal separately playing a bass note to the chord I'm playing. And I'll just play and end it with Wider Shade of Pale. Here we go, we've got some great intros on here. Let's just listen to them first. What I like to do when I'm playing a song, let's have a listen first and see what we're going to get. The first intro is always a count-in. That's nice. Number 2 is, that would be great in the middle of the song. And then number 3. Okay, so we'll use that as our first one. Let's start it off the song. They go on a long time, don't they, sometimes? Okay, so let's see what sounds we're going to get. There's a way we can do this. E bass, D bass, C bass, G chord, the F bass, B. I'm going to transpose. I could have pressed it twice and it slowed right down then. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed today. Please let us know what else you'd like us to cover. Please let us know how you found it, if the volumes were okay, if you could see it clearly. We want to get one more camera, I think, just so you can see the keys I'm playing as well. I'll just check your last questions. When is the next live? So next Tuesday, we're hoping to do a live session again, and I'll be doing the same. Chris is also going to do one hopefully this Thursday. So we are trying to get these out more. Keep an eye on all our social media. If you want to get our newsletter, you'll get updates of when we're going to do these. Obviously, if you go onto the YouTube and you subscribe to our channel, that means that you'll get, or even like it with a thumbs up, that will mean that you will then get all the notifications and you won't miss any more. But we want you to be very involved with this. This is our hobby as well as yours, and the more that we can show you and share with you, the better. So I would say please let us know what we can help you with, what features you want more help with, and where you're struggling, and we can perhaps explain that better for you. I'll just check the last things I was going to say to you, which are tips and tricks, events like this. We're going to be doing lots more, so please, get involved. Our showroom is now open for appointments. We're at the stage now where we are able to welcome you back to the showroom. If you want to come and see a product or learn about it, do get in touch. We look forward to seeing you here in Banbury. Come and see us. If not, we can do a lot of help over the phone, or with these we can include certain tips and features. And also the other thing to tell you is that we do have lots of second-hand things which will go well with your Tyros. We have second-hand stands, we have loads of covers that we've got in which are for the Genos. We've also got stands, covers and gig bags, the carry cases. So if you go out playing, it's a lot of money this. You don't want to get it damaged, so you want to protect it very well, so it's worth buying a nice case. And we have a selection on our website. Mel's currently updating all the books as well. We get lots of sheet music books in that we sell second hand. So if you've got any books you want, look through our lists on our website and check them out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll just thank you thank you very much. Well, thanks for your kind words. I'll read them properly when you've all gone. But see you again next Tuesday, and have a good week, and thanks very much for watching. I'm David from ePianos, Whitley Bay, Genos Tipsters and Tyros Tipsters. What a mouthful. Thank you very much. Have a good day.